do you sometimes find yourself in the beginning of the sales meeting when you're meeting someone new, you're meeting your prospect for the first time? Do you ever feel like it's a little bit uncomfortable? Well, usually what modern sales advice says is that you should just kind of like say hi and maybe ask like where are they from, and then quickly, you should try to make them feel a little bit comfortable, but then you should quickly move on to the actual discovery where you talk about the business side of things. And I think that this makes sense. But for me, what I felt like, if I can dive into rapport building a little bit more, like it doesn't need to be 10 minutes, but if at the beginning of the meeting, in the first 3 minutes, if I can give them a feeling that they're like welcome and just make like a natural connection with them, then my experience has always been that the rest of the sales meeting is going to be so much easier, because they're just so much more open with you now, because just there's that like natural connection with them. And I feel like that's one of the most powerful things that you can do. Obviously, you still need to have a good discovery, good pitch, good objection handling. But if you can just focus on like setting the agenda well and making them feel welcome and making like a natural connection with them, that's just gonna really do a lot for the meeting, in my experience. Now, personally, I'm probably not the best person at this, because I'm not always great at making natural connection with someone. But I find like if I practice it, if I try it, then I see my progress increase. And it's just about, when you're getting into the meeting, make a habit of it to take setting the agenda seriously. At the same time, you might enter a phase where you just need to let things go a little bit. That's where I'm at currently, and paradoxically, it actually helps me connect better, because I've worked on like 1 or like almost 2 years on like really setting the agenda and like saying that and practicing that every time before I go into the meeting, so that I'm like, hey John, how are you today? Great. Yeah, so I know that when I called you a couple days ago, we were talking about you might have some interest in getting some more projects for your business, right? Yeah. Okay, well, my plan today is to kind of see where you're at with the business, and what would be interesting and what's important to you. And then based on that, I can see how I can help you with that. I could share that with you, and then at the end of the meeting, if we both feel like this could be a good thing, then I'll make your proposal. Sound fair? Something like that is great, and you can practice that to give you a little bit more control over the meeting and take leadership over the meeting, like giving it a certain direction. And I think that's very powerful, but at the same time, sometimes now I feel like I just let that go, and then I purposely try not to set any pressure on myself. I'm just going into the meeting like, hey, I want to make the best of it, but I'm not going to pressure myself at the beginning. I'm just going to be there and see what happens, see how he reacts, and we'll go either way. And now I think this is what's allowing me to build a lot more rapport with them, because they're feeling that I'm just so comfortable. Well, I'm a lot more comfortable than I used to be at the start of the meeting. So they feel like now they also have some room to move and say what they think. And they feel maybe like I'm a little bit more authentic, because I'm not using the agenda as like a script. Because even if you practice the script well, it's still gonna sound a little bit like a script, right? So being natural, if you can do that, is always like the best. But yeah. So like it depends where you're at. If you're a beginner, then I would say learn to use the script, learn to set the agenda, pay attention to it so that you can guide the meeting more. But if you're at a point where you feel like you can already do that, then maybe if you're feeling like there's always a lot of like pressure in the beginning of the meeting, just try to let that go for a while, and then just focus on being natural in the beginning, and you will over time get better at making reports, which will, in my experience, significantly increase the willingness of your prospects to share information with you, and it makes everything a lot easier. Just the first few minutes can make a big difference in my experience. So obviously also because like I'm going places like this sometimes helps a little bit, but if you can just practice on your sales calls, I think that's the most important thing. So yeah, that's what I would share with you as like my advice. If you want to get better at report, focus on either setting an agenda and or just chilling at the beginning of the meeting, not setting too much pressure on yourself, and just going from there from a natural connection. So I hope you guys liked the video. Yeah, let me know what you think. Check out my next video. I'll see you guys around. Cheers.